Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Eats. Cave Nub, you are. I love you, dude. Thank you so much, man. I'll go ahead and pay it forward to you one day, bro. I got you. But good fucking morning, buzz. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of Counter Strike. I was not expecting that, Cave Nub. You're too nice, bro. Thank you so much, man. Uh, Divide Esports versus Nerd Generation. How about that? It's unrelated to Forzen, but perhaps Forzen would absolutely get demolished by these lads in the server here. I'm sorry, I was really caught off guard. I was not expecting that whatsoever. Divide Esports, they've had a 5-5 season. It's been a little bit rough and turbulent for them. Their past 3 games have been very unfortunate. All have been losses and all have been 16-9 or worse. Their last game was actually 16-2 loss versus Acid Rain, I believe it was. So obviously looking to bounce back against Nerd Generation, who have had probably the opposite. They've been on an upward trajectory as of late here. They lost 3 games so far this season. And for a while, they have been flawless. But right now, Divide Esports, they're coming out swinging. 3 kills right off the bat for Irish Sniper is going to be a fantastic way for the side of Divide Esports to get themselves in a fantastic position and make it 2. I'm still really riding off that high of being gifted a sub. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it. Well, 0-1 right off the bat here. Nerd Generation obviously aren't exactly going to be able to make all too much happen against Pistols. That being said, they're given a couple of opportunities as Debris is just kind of peeking out over towards mid. A very quick finish to a very quick round over within the span of about 20 seconds. It will quickly go the way of Divide Esports here, but this is obviously going to be the more competitive round, the more concerning round for Divide Esports, I would say. Probably their first big challenge, first of many big challenges so far. You're going to be seeing actually a glass... Okay, never mind, not a glass cannon. But third round up seems a little bit strange to me here. Jackmaster is still going to be stuck on that UMP. Otherwise, it will be AKs across the board, M4s across the board, alongside that one from Moss that is in BMAD's hands. Debris right off the bat will go ahead and prove me wrong about that AWP. I wasn't actually expecting the AWP to go big, but finding that first kill is pretty huge, and it's actually dragged to rotate over from the CT side. Meanwhile, though, Skyshark will go down at Bathrooms again. It's still incredibly early on into this game, but Divide Esports have basically found a shoe-in to close out the round just off of those 2 kills. Make it 3 kills. Debris is continuing, finding another. There's still a lurker over at the B bomb site, don't get me wrong, but Nerd Generation need to keep their players over towards A, but they have not. They've actually kept all their rotates over towards B, and because of that, Divide Esports are going to have the bomb site free of charge. Absolutely no one there to stop them. They're dragging their feet a little bit and actually getting that bomb, but it was lagging behind a decent amount. No matter, though, Nerd Generation still at B? Still? Are they? They're going to save their guns, I suppose. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I was a bit concerned, but yes, eventually things will just go ahead and end up the way of Divide Esports. So, good response for round number 3. That is usually where we see a little bit of a turning point in a lot of these matches. Maybe turning point isn't exactly the right phrase for it, but, you know, where you see the losing side who lost those first 2 rounds, usually they can at least piece together one just because their economy, or the economy is going to be favoring them a very decent amount. So that being said, PowerTail and Co. will be able to close out a third, perhaps assuming if they can get at least one of these guns out of the hands of Nerd Generations. Michaela with the Go Megalol Po Megalolor tail. I like it. Much appreciated. I have to say, though, I am a fan of PowerTail as well. He is the one making this cast happen, and Divide Esports, off the back of his big brain calls, even though he's not the caller for this team, it's actually Kazi. He's the big brain behind it all, in my opinion here. He's single-handedly kind of kept me interested in this team here. So, you know, I appreciate it based off of that fact alone here. Divide Esports, I mean, hey, again, it's been a really turbulent season for them, but they've gone even and actually have a chance of going positive after this game here. Again, off to a nice start here. Kazi, head on a swivel, unfortunately, is not quite ready for the trade. Skyshark is able to get one, but again, put out of commission right as the second kill comes, or right as that kill comes through, excuse me. Response from Divide Esports is just going to be trying to take a little bit more map control here. Search for a couple more fights if they can here. The trades aren't going to work out in their favor. Jagmaster goes out untraded, excuse me. But Irish Sniper will deliver elsewhere on the map. Rotates over towards Monster. Actually goes ahead and picks up another kill for his trouble here. Bomb again will be making its way over towards the A bomb site. Lagging far, far behind here, but this actually might work out for Divide Esports here. Nerd Generation might be overthinking these rotates and actually maybe force themselves to stay split 1-1 here, and that is a perfect headline for Divide Esports here if they want to close out the round. Debris 2K in particular has a chance to completely crack open this site like an egg. They can just somehow pick up the pieces after they fall. Point of contact comes through. BMAD finds the first. Rotate is in as well. Debris will have to pull off a massive 1 versus 2 here, but it's not even going to be a possibility, really. It's over before it even has a chance of starting, and 1-3 just like that. Nerd Generation finally get their first on the board. An interesting way to do it as well. I mean, that started out as a 3 versus 4 incredibly early. You know, those early kills, for the most part, have decided this game so far, obviously going the way of Divide Esports for the majority of it. But Nerd Generation, when it comes to these later rounds, they seem to have the better position to actually win out a lot of these duels. And it's a very, very nice change of pace. Speaking of a very nice change of pace, Kazi, disgusting double kill with a Deeg. Don't even know how he pulled off that first kill, but I was not even sure if it connected. Hence, I didn't raise my voice around it, but I'm going to have to raise my voice because, again, this round is going to be just at a blistering pace, to be completely honest here. 4 kills, barely any time has gone by, and another situation where Divide Esports are right on the cusp of being able to close it out. They again falter in some of these mid-round scenarios. Debris, this time stuck in a 1 versus 3, will have to pull off a miraculous clutch, but, I mean, he's on half HP already. The bomb is out of commission as well. I'm assuming the CTs know that the bomb is down. They should, right? Are they? Wait a sec. Let me just... Where's the bomb? Are they... They don't realize the bomb is down. Oh, Christ. Says 1 versus 3 when there's 2 alive. Well, it was a 1 versus 3. He got the kill. Traded him out over towards long very early on. So it was a 1 versus 3. Now down to 1 versus 2. You're correct in that regard. Deletion. Probably just going to be able to delete Debris right here. Knows actually where both players are, but the shots are not quite there as well. The 1 versus 3 will not become a reality, going down after only 1 kill. I'm wagging my finger at you, Twitch chat. I swear I know what I'm talking about. I swear. Another one for Nerd Generation, though, and another really decent conversion for them after getting knocked down a couple of pegs super early on. I mean, it really does seem to be kind of the name of the game for Nerd Generation so far and how they're getting their rounds. That Monster Smoke has missed like 3 times now, by the way. Nerd Generation, I recommend going ahead and making sure your lineup actually connects, because that would be a very nice smoke to have. Go ahead and mastered, excuse me. Full eco from Divide Esports here. Not exactly going to make you raise your voice at all here, but that is just because nothing exactly really happens. Nerd Generation are just going to farm for a little bit more money. And there you have it. Kieran unlocked highlighted messages so you can highlight these kappas. I'll go ahead and do it after this, I promise you. Probably shouldn't do it mid-cast. It doesn't seem like the the perfect idea. You know what? I'll do it at halftime. I'll go ahead and try to do it at halftime. Does that Molotov actually connect? There we are. Okay, cool. So the Molotovs and smokes are starting to connect a little bit more. Nerd Generation. That's been one of the, you know, less well-oiled parts of their default machine so far. Their default setup so far is missing a couple of smokes, giving up some of that monster control early on when trying to make someone cross over to the other side of that pit. But now that they've gotten some of those kinks worked out, should be smooth sailing for them in this round. That being said, Divide Esports could easily throw a spanner into the works here since they have guns of their own right as well. Util is also looking pretty decent for them. Overall, I mean, it really is kind of even game. Anything can happen. This is ESEA Open, and neither of these teams are, you know, like flawless or advanced teams that are smurfing. Anything can really happen, and that's just kind of the magic of Counter-Strike sometimes, and why exactly I love this game so much. But Right now, I think Nerd Generation have got to be loving how they're playing their CT side so far. 2 lovely kills for Sky Shark will put them in a fantastic position, Nerd Generation, to close this one out within due time. It's been one of the slower rounds for Divide Esports in recent history here. They're trying to set up for one of their defaults. It's not exactly working out for them whatsoever. Oh, man. I don't know how Irish Sniper gets away with winning that duel here. African just, I guess, can't quite connect the shots. Again, anything can happen, but I think a 1 versus 4 would be a bit too tall of an order for someone like Powertail. I've had not exactly the most most bouncing of starts. The most bounding of starts, probably be the better word for it. He's 1 and 7, excuse me, at the moment with 5 assists. It's actually a little bit more interesting. Honestly, there's not anything all too crazy that's happening at the moment here. It's probably going to have to be another round of pistols for the T side here before they can actually make another competitive round with AKs and all the works. After that initial AWP that we saw in round number 3, by the way, I would like to mention that we haven't seen one since. Divide Esports perhaps buying a little bit haphazardly. Unfortunately, not quite working out for them so far. Nerd Generation, this slower pace definitely seems to suit them a decent amount. You see how they're avoiding taking some of these fights over towards Connector, for instance, and just waiting for them to walk into their crosshairs over towards bathrooms. There will be a 1-for-1 trade. I thought that was actually going to be a little bit more lethal from the side of BMAD, but luckily 281 will be there to go ahead and dial in another kill for them. There's also a flank in from bathrooms too. I mean, really, Divide Esports are just kind of being collapsed in by collapsed on all angles. This is rough. Cinnamori asks, why the fuck does this one dude have on Nerd Generation have a phone number as his name? I looked it up because I thought the same thing, and apparently it's like some song. So, if you thought my name being a reference to a song was a bad alias, it's at least better than Mr. 281 over here. Okay? At least my name isn't numbers. Mine's Ito. It has class. It's not just 281. 5-3. I mean, Nerd Generation. They're now going for aggressive stuff. This is really strange at a lot of times. I mean, Nerd Generation, a lot of the time, these incredibly passive setups have done them incredibly well. Over towards bathrooms in particular, you saw how they had that crossfire setup with a BMAD and 281. This time they've completely switched up their setup. They have 281 actually aggressive over towards Connector, and while it can work, that is a very calculated risk, or that is a really big gamble that they're taking here, and it's not quite the calculated risk that I think that they're hoping. 1-for-1 again, but Divide Esports heavily in the favor, or heavily in the lead at this moment here. Basically have found themselves, okay? 281, if you're going to flash it, at least go ahead and look at the angle you just flashed, my friend. Divide Esports. Up to 4. We'll go ahead and close it out. I mean, Gifted a lot of really nice opportunities. Find themselves in another situation where they're able to nearly even things up. That's the magic. Let's see us go again. It's important to mention. Anything can happen. And right now, I really think Nerd Generation, if I were their coach here, if they had a coach, I would probably be saying, hey, yo, keep doing those passive setups here. Because for the most part, Divide Esports have been really forcing early engagements, and not a lot of them have had, things like flashbangs behind it. Again, take a look at that bathrooms control that they've taken. They've had one guy popping out of Connector early on. Sometimes haven't even been checking the close angle there. But a push over towards mid, if you have a crossfire in bathrooms, for the most part, they're going to be able to find really, 1 or 2 free kills probably before an actual decent trade and evening up actually happens. As for the side of Divide Esports here, I mean, honestly, they have not exploited long control at all. Those are the big things that I'm seeing. Michaela with the prime meme, I like it. Controlling bathrooms better than Mr. Shungai. No, not Such Knight. I think he's locked up in prison or something. Divide Esports, maybe they have heard my calls and actually have decided to take a bit of a slower pace, towards this round here. There's the flashes I was talking about. Just a nice little right click, sure, but it does the job. We'll go ahead and blind off the angle here. Sky Shark is making so much noise. I'm caught off guard. I mean, Skyshark is just trying to rotate back to safety. He's taking this duel. Why did he take that duel over towards Bath? Okay, never mind. I understand. There's Tease coming towards him. Unfortunately, Skyshark was just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place there. No chance other than him just getting flashed out and maybe winning that duel. But, I mean, that's one of those places where it's just really hard to get traded out. Divide Esports basically given a freebie. Now have the man advantage once more, but again, closing out these rounds has been the really, really difficult part for them. Actually executing onto these sites here. They should be tossing down some of these smokes, something of the sort here, but at least a trade will be through from debris if worse comes to worse. Jagmaster will be the first of many people in over towards the A-bomb site. That being said, maybe the A-bomb site will be deserted after all. What was that shot from Powertail? That is unbelievable. He bursted and took him down while fully blinded. I can't actually believe that worked out so swimmingly for him. He's 4-8 at the moment here. Excuse me, make it actually 5-8, but they need to get the bomb down. Barely any time remains as they get it through, causing me anxiety, but eventually the round will go the way of Divide Esports. Lovely little triple from Powertail, I should mention, as really the key to making that one work for Divide Esports here. And really, the T side will find themselves in a fantastic situation to go ahead and make it number 6 on the scoreboard as well. These games really do kind of feel strange to cast at times because the timings seem like so different than like what you'd see in pro games, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It makes for some incredibly entertaining Counter-Strike, but it's something that I also see in like lots of Brazilian Counter-Strike as well. Not so much with like Furia, but like, you know, some of those like teams like Red Canids, for example. They just move so quickly and have some incredibly like fast rounds, and fast rounds are always hard to keep up with. This is no exception. Again, you see Nerd Generation are immediately trying to close the distance against Divide Esports here, and although it's done them well for 1 kill, it's a 1-for-1 trade. And when you have pistols, you're going to need to do a little bit better than that. You're going to need to try to get a lopsided advantage right off the bat, and that's something that they haven't exactly been able to figure out just yet, Nerd Generation. That being said, they've bought a decent amount of time here. This gap is being closed slowly but surely over towards the B bomb site, but this is far from an impossible situation from Nerd Generation to come back from, especially since an AK is in play, and Monsters isn't exactly the best guarded place. They have an op watching it here, but a nice little pre-fire might have done away with debris. Now a round that wasn't exactly looking likely in the first place has just become a lot more unlikely. Debris making this round, I wouldn't say single-handedly possible for the side of Divide, but really going ahead and making it so the damage that the CTs inflict is actually minimal. Jagmaster, with a couple of shots to the body, will close it out in due time, and Divide Esports take the lead. 6-5 on the T side of overpasses. Always a good recipe for success, considering, I mean, at least from the one other game that I've seen Powertail and Co. play, I think they have a more passive CT side. It was on a Mirage, or it was on Mirage, and I remembered that they had incredibly passive setups. They played retake a lot of the time, so, you know, perhaps that's what I'm going off of. Oh, Nubage, thanks for the subscription, my friend. Or not subscription. I saw the gift sub, and I thought, like, wow, you gifted a sub? Thank you for hopping in, is probably what I meant to say. Freudian slip, what can I say? Okay, man? Jagmaster. Leading the charge in towards mid this time around here. Go ahead and walk away from my Papega antics. New Generation going to be going for a little bit of a strange stack in towards Bath. How is this working so well? I don't believe it. I cannot. This is such a strange game. Divide Esports somehow they're, I don't know, man. How can I? They're losing the round, I guess. BMAD is able to find 2 off of a incredibly awkward situation. No one looking at the right side of bathrooms. I mean, eventually he gets killed. We got that going for us here. But it's 2v4. And surely at this point, Divide Esports, they're going to be kind of left wondering what the hell they can actually do. What kind of mid-round call could actually win them this game, win them this round, excuse me. And since they have double smokes, and A-Exec definitely seems like the brightest of ideas that they have so far. 281 will be holding down the site here, and while he will find the first, the second isn't quite known to him. He'll peek out wide. just go ahead and take care of it from there. Something that I thought could have been a little bit more climactic ends up being rather anticlimactic, but what? I still can't get over what that was. What happened over towards bathrooms? Yeah, thank you for clipping and shipping that to LSF. Hopefully you get 5 upvotes or more. Okay, I want to see what is going wrong with this smoke. Okay, so he's aiming too low. I'm pretty sure with the smoke. I recommend BMAD maybe workshop on that one a little bit more, because Deletion now no longer can exactly peek behind it here and wait for any aggressive notation. He'll need a flash through, which is relatively common enough. Nade in towards water could actually be huge here. I think BMAD should have the right... He's thinking about it. Okay, that's a decent enough angle here. Tosses in a Molotov as well, going ahead and ruining any early lineups. I actually think that's pretty big to write home about. Powertail eating a bit of the fire damage too. Suddenly, those nades that I thought were going to be a little bit silly actually are working out perfectly for them. Debris with a close range op shot will actually find another entrance back into this round for Divide Esports here. Nerd Generation, however, will strike back. 2 kills of their own here. BMAD again doubling down, getting 2 kills. This time a lot less strange to look at. What is the smoke from 281? I have no clue, but he's just going to be sitting himself in it here. 1 versus 2 at the end of the day. Jagmaster left to pick up this round here. But, I mean, really, it is anybody's clutch here. Jagmaster makes the call to go ahead and rotate all the way through Monster here, and I think he hears the footsteps. There's the execution. Unfortunately, just a bit too much noise made will eventually lead to demise for the T side. That was a bit of a stranger retake, one of the strangest that we've seen so far this season, I'd say. But in the end, Nerd Generation just kind of get the shots that they need to hit, and eventually we'll be able to close things out. So no problem to them. I mean, Divide Esports, they got the bomb down. They're able to buy up just because of that fact alone. But if they can avoid taking some of that early damage, I think their B execute actually has some real legs behind it. Also important to mention that Debris getting that double kill over early on to kind of entry in was a huge factor into even making that round go as deep as it was. What a lovely shot from Jackmaster. That is always such a risky angle to play, but the crosshair placement is there, and that's exactly why crosshair placement is so huge. That probably wouldn't have hit otherwise. Keeps that dream alive for Divide Esports here. This is already far from a bad T-half whatsoever from Divide, but I know that they can stretch out even more here. I mean, they're basically knocking on the door of round number 7 at the moment here. Although 281 holding close over towards bathrooms. We'll be looking over towards Divider before backing off, but he's not ready for the second player. Nice little timing from Powertail. We'll go ahead and grant him a freebie kill. And again, the numbers game is being played by Divide Esports here. They're dividing these teams in half at the moment here. The CT defense is so split. And hell, they can't even get some of their bullets on. It's all adding up into another fantastic round for Divide Esports here as they have basically picked away at every remaining player on the A-bomb site, forcing African to make a retake, a 1 versus 3 retake at that, to keep the dream alive for them. Doesn't exactly look possible, but a kit could easily be picked up from African. That would give him a bit more of a fighting chance. Pick up the kit, sir. There you go. Now in hand. I mean, still incredibly tough ask for him. He would have needed to get that first kill over towards Bank, then probably, you know, tap the bomb or something. But from there, a whole wealth of issues popped up. 7 for Divide Esports here, so it is going to be 8-7. Actually, who's going to be able to get number 8 on the board is a different question entirely. But, I mean, Divide Esports, they've done a little bit better at actually converting some of those late rounds, you know? I think that was the first really confident full execute onto a site I've seen from them in a while, which is huge news. I mean, that's something that they really could do themselves for, considering how turbulent it's actually been towards those later parts of the half. I mean, a lot of their rounds have been towards elimination, I'd say, and they've had these massive advantages, and sure, they faltered from time to time, but for the most part, I mean, Divide Esports have a really good foundation of what they're doing here. Nerd Generation are struggling with it a lot of the time. Even with their passive setups, starting to get a little bit more punished for it now. I mean, players like 281, for instance, I can mention, like, you know, he was holding down from a relatively safe angle over towards bathrooms, backed up, but when he tossed out a Molotov, you know, that Q was enough for Divide Esports to go ahead and extend for the kill. That is huge news. I mean, Divide Esports, they will take that any day of the week here. This is no exception. 281 realizes how much danger he would be in if he overstayed his welcome, so he will back off quickly. Look behind you. Oh my lord, BMAD has actually made the long flank happen. This suddenly throws a wrench into the plans of Divide Esports a decent amount. Luckily, BMAD only has a deagle, so he can't just get a crazy spray down or anything of the sort here, but it still is a little bit concerning, considering the execute is happening all the way on towards the A bomb site right now. Sure, the kills are through, but maybe not going to be expecting quick. Oh no! Oh lord, BMAD, at least he gets the kill. I thought he was going to be done for after he missed that first one here, but unfortunately, Kazi couldn't quite swing around and get it done in time. And so it turns out that that flank from BMAD didn't exactly pan out. It wasn't nearly as lethal as I thought it'd be, that is. At halftime, I mentioned that I was going to go ahead and change up my channel points stuff again. Let's see, how do I go ahead and highlight messages? I think it's probably in community, I would imagine. Yeah, there it is. One moment, please. There we are. I'm going to go ahead and enable it at whatever the default is. So 170, apparently, is the default. And I'm going to go ahead and name my channel point display Ito Bucks. There you are. Now for 170 Ito Bucks, you can go ahead and get yourself a highlighted message. I like how you sing the Final Fantasy victory jingle. It's catchy. Well, there's been a lot of victory for Divide Esports so far. I mean, they got 8 rounds on the T half of Overpass, which I think is no small feat whatsoever here. I mean, I wouldn't say it's notoriously difficult, but rotates are incredibly quick here. And Divide Esports, considering how fast they have been on rotates, at least from what we saw previously, I mean, I figured that it actually would have done them a lot of good to be on the CT side. But, you know, faltering. Their generation still have kept this game incredibly close and competitive. It's far, far from over for either side. Jackmaster has to be ready for the inevitable push all the way through. Oh, Lord, that is incredibly awkward. Kazi, or Jackmaster, excuse me, only able to find 1 kill after what could have been potentially 2 or more. Probably just 2, actually, now that I think about it. Now go ahead and have to lean on his teammate's shoulders to go ahead and close out this one here. Nice little smoke over towards Bank. I don't know how Kazi got pushed through that. It felt like that shot was dead on. Now this is incredibly awkward now from the CT side. Taking fights that aren't exactly advantageous for them puts them in an incredibly awkward situation for when this retake eventually happens. Quick kill comes through from Powertail, but tries to take on a bit too much. Bites off a bit more than he can chew, perhaps you could say. And suddenly 1v2 for Irish Sniper is the last possible hope for Divide Esports in this pistol, but it's not meant to be. Skyshark is ready, willing, and able to hit those shots. And as it's evened up 8-8 suddenly, I mean, it makes a lot more sense of what I was saying about how close this game was. Hell, at this point, Nerd Generation should be able to actually make it 9-8. At the same time, I'm a little bit surprised. Do they? 24. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say they weren't gonna have enough money to buy Divide Esports next round, but assuming they can make this at least a somewhat lethal pistol round, they should be okay. Jackmaster might have to go for a FAMAS or something of the sort here, but this eco round, it's kind of a haphazard or half forced buy. A bit strange. Jackmaster just bought exactly enough to not exactly have enough to afford an M4 for this coming round here. Stuck on 3450 for this one here. So the full save doesn't exactly work out for Divide Esports here. Jagmaster is going to be stuck on FAMAS duty, most likely. Or even worse, probably an MP9. Or Mag 7. Interesting. Where was Jagmaster playing that last round? Oh, was he playing over towards water? That would make a little bit more sense. I could see it being played water or monster or something of the sort. Good smoke from Nerd Generation here. But they're not quite ready for the counter smoke and the aggressive push through. In this neck of the woods, we call that the Ito. There's a time recently where I just got a jumping Max 7 kill. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't in a league match, but hey, I still will always write home about that one. Divide Esports, however, fully bought up into this. Seems to be having good results so far here. I mean, Nerd Generation, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, buys can be sometimes rough to really justify on round number 3 of either side, just because, for the most part, your economy is not exactly going to be incredibly stable. You know, you see Deletion has 5,400, that's enough, but 281, for instance, still stuck on that Galil, only has 1,850, and it becomes a lot harder to actually play against some of these, or to actually play against some of these CTs, win some of these duels. Still possible, don't get me wrong, but definitely does become a lot harder just because of that slow RPM. That being said, BMAD is actually making a very convincing case for the Galil as he's found 3. Fakes the bomb plant. And I'm surprised Debris actually chooses to peek off of that, because that was quite obviously a fake bomb plant considering it hasn't gone down yet. No need to worry though. Whole flurry of words come through for what is eventually, or what is inevitably, 9th round for Divide Esports here. Back onto even slate. Divide Esports actually are a little bit flustered, perhaps. Their money isn't perfect, but they'll be able to afford M4s across the board if they feel like it. Sidmore is saying, I remember your first ace in CSGO. That Nova. Oh, I love that Nova. Nova Science now. Now aggro setups from Divide will again be going for their bread and butter of what they've been doing so far, aggressing over towards water. This time no one's there to greet Jagmaster. Perhaps a good sign for them. Actually, some of this early aggression from Divide Esports has been really, really noteworthy for them. They haven't found a lot of this information, so they have to realize it's over towards A or long. And while they would be correct with the second assumption that it is towards long, Debris 2K has the right idea. Double Molotov is actually committed just to snuff him out over towards Bank here. Irish Sniper is right behind it, though. Will be able to find 2 kills. Kazi will be there from jump out to go ahead and try to save the day a little bit more, but surprisingly, so many kills will come out behind this. I don't understand how this has gone down into 2 versus 2 after what seemed like such a bloodbath for Nerd Generation, but they made it happen. Oh god, that was a shot Debris most definitely needed to hit. Good shot through. Divides African of a safe plant. We'll get tagged down to 26. BMAD. Perfect angle. We'll just be able to connect the shot. I don't understand how Nerd Generation were able to claw that one back. That was looking so good. I mean, that was a practically 3 versus 5. There was no aggression other than that player from Jump Up who got promptly traded. Divide Esports probably with a bit of an upsetting round right there. Find themselves on 9, stuck on pistols. Probably going to have to give up number 11 to the side of Nerd Generation as well. However, again, anything can happen. It's just that Nerd Generation has a lot going for them right now to put themselves later in these double digits. A bit quieter than I was expecting from this round, to be completely honest. It looks like they're setting up for a full exec. Probably a little bit overkill, considering Divide Esports are just stacking up over towards pistols. At the end of the day, though, the pistols are only so effective against the AKs and the AWPs, in this case, from Nerd Generation. It will meet its logical conclusion in just a couple of moments as Debris is this kind of sandwich from all sides. Very fast rounds, honestly. And really, I mean, just like that, Our generation are back in the driver's seat of things. Sure, their money isn't incredible. If they lose this, they would probably be forced onto a save. So this is actually, now that I think about it, a very, very vital round for Divide Esports to actually win if they want to try to keep this game as even as it has been the entire time. That's a good start. Debris, nice little tag onto the player pushing out over towards mid. And will mean that BMAT is in a bit of a more uncomfortable situation. Fantastic heads-up play by Kazi to find the first and the second. That is an incredible solo play by Kazi. That effort will not go unnoticed, and because of that, he puts himself basically in the prime position to close out this round. His teammates will also get in on some of the action. Jagmaster finding one, an Irish Sniper as well, flanking from mid later on. But really, I mean, that was incredibly huge from Kazi. Shoulder angle, or shoulder peeked every single angle over towards playground. And I mean, crosshair placement just came into play there. And the second kill over towards a player over at Fountain, dead to rights. From there, his teammates just kind of had to gather around him and try to make these favorable trades. And they did exactly that. 4v1 is what Kazi will be rewarded with as he is promptly put into the grave. I mean, Nerd Generation would actually be in the best bet of deletion to save this AK. Most definitely would be. Only 1,400 will be flooding into the pockets of Nerd Generation at the moment, so considering they won't even be able to do that, this is another really important round for Divide Esports to win. Not only to build up their own money, but to deny Nerd Generation of any chance of building up their economy and putting them right back to square one, Divide Esports. They have a relatively easier task on hand. They do have that single AWP, which could probably mix things up a little bit, as well as the AK in African's hands, who I don't even know how he's been doing this game. I was going to say he's been doing fantastic, but he's actually been the bottom fragger so far for Nerd Generation. Trying to quickly close the distance over towards B yet again is the ESEA Open Classic, just pressing W into his sight. And Nerd Generation, that is a recipe that they have perfected. They overwhelmed the B bomb site and will very, very quickly, should I mention, put themselves on 12. Yeah, I mean, hey, rushing like that really is just kind of the name of the game sometimes in the ESEA Open. A quick pop play out towards B, just catch players blind. CT's going for more aggressive setups than maybe they should. I mean, the rotates, they're fast, yeah, but thing is that for the most part, they've been really ready for a lot of these, you know, fast flanks and fast rotations, and they've been able to punish them, get the bomb down, and just kind of play time. It's led to varying degrees of success for Nerd Generation, but right now, I mean, they're only 4 away from closing this one out here and improving to a 7-3 record in the season. They have a lot going their way when it comes to argument, when it comes to gambling chips, on how their performance has been this season. You know, Divide Esports here, I mean, they're just fighting to try to keep that positive record. To have a positive record, I should say. AWP save from Debris will probably be the most likely linchpin for Divide Esports to actually make this a relatively convincing round. 3 players with pistols otherwise. Why was bomb dropped first? Oh god, that changes everything. The CTs, they need to swarm up around this bomb here. They need to go ahead and capitalize upon this newfound key to success that they have gotten, Debris. I mean, he could just get smoked off and suddenly all of his efforts would have gone to waste. Why aren't the CTs rotating around this more? This is unreal. White, smoke it off! African, why are you smoking it off? There it is. Thank god it comes through. It's not a good smoke though. Oh my god, what is happening? Why are they just not smoke off the bomb? Oh my lord, that's insane. Debris. All it took was 1 kill. The second was just kind of, I mean, that was just a cherry on top. But that first kill changed everything. An eco-round victory from Divide Esports. Are you kidding me? Is that seriously how we're going to see the 11th round go to Divide? Surely not. It would have to be a 1 versus 4 for Nerdy to get it otherwise. That is a very interesting position for a CT to be in. Nice little pop. Not quite the kill that 281 wants, but he knows at least where one of these 3 players are located. Needs to get bomb. And won't even have a chance of doing it. Lovely triple from Debris, but really, it wasn't even the 2nd or 3rd kill that were the most notable of this round. It was all in that first kill. Getting that bomb carrier dropped, or getting that bomb dropped, excuse me, over towards Monster. Single-handedly changed the landscape. That wasn't even, like, optimal in a lot of cases from Divide Esports as well. In theory, you would want them to, like, you know, collapse around the bomb, have pistols start rushing over towards Monster, and just try to trade each other out, but that wasn't even necessary. It was just a bad smoke from African, couldn't quite smoke out the Monster angle, and Debris, excuse me, was just able to roam free. We have a game, or we have a differential of 1 at the moment here. And it's looking awfully good for Divide Esports to again even things up. It was all tied up 8-8 for a while. Then I believe it was 9-9. And now we're back at it again, probably at 12-12. Kazi has to be careful what he actually commits to here. Luckily, his shots are connecting, and Irish Sniper is there to go ahead and back him up. Lovely, lovely trades from Divide Esports. That is textbook how you take care of an eco. And they will be rewarded for their efforts in kind. So much money built up and only one gun dropped. Definitely helps pad things out a little bit more here, where even if Nerd Generation were to win this round in a relatively dominant fashion, Divide Esports should still be able to at least piece together a decent enough buy here. Powertail might need a drop from Debris or something like that, but, I mean, Divide Esports, they will be able to rebuy no matter what happens. That's huge news, especially since, I mean, the CT economy is so frail, so fragile in this recent meta. Something like that, so that little bit of cushion, seriously changes everything up. Oh my god, they might not even need that cushion. Kazi and Debris both picking up the pace over towards mid will actually be able to find a couple of kills for their troubles here. 281, who has actually traded out a couple of members, will get taken down by Irish Sniper, who's on a double kill of his own right. And holy hell, is this the same Divide Esports that we saw in the first half? This is night and day how they're playing. I knew their CT side was very good after that one Mirage game I watched a couple of weeks back, but this is something else entirely. They're looking way, way more confident. Smurs and Kind is saying T-Tours. I agree, T-Tours, but basically my my default play is that I have Auto Director do a lot of the work, and then whenever someone dies, I switch over. And unfortunately, I just kind of messed that one up a little bit. Apologies about that. Having to cast and observe at the same time is not the easiest of ordeals, I'll tell you that. Trying to work on it, though. I've been getting better. Speaking of people who have been doing better, again, a lot of Divide Esports has really, really stepped up in recent history here. Even some of the players who have been quieter for a lot of this series. I mean, remember, there's one point where I believe it was Powertail was 1-7 or 1-8 or something of the sort here. He's now lighting it up. He's at 19 kills and perhaps more to even come. Jagmaster seems to be taking this round away all by his lonesome, though. Has found 2 with the AWP. Auto Director is a bit... Nah, man. It's a perfectly valid criticism, you know? You gotta spectate the game to actually enjoy it. I like... You're fine. Don't worry. Just trying to be the best I can be, and my observing has to be better as well. Turns out, though, that Divide Esports won't need to be observed. The revolution is not going to be televised for them. The win will not be televised for them, apparently. 14-12, an absolutely fantastic clapback from them. A comeback. Maybe clapback isn't the right word. You know, a glow-up. Maybe that's the right phrase for it. Fantastic glow-up from them. Like, this looks seriously night and day from how Divide Esports were handling the first half of this game. They're looking so much smoother, and, you know, they've kept this competitive at the very least. They have forced regulation, or forced the full 30 rounds, I should say. They're looking confident, primed to take this even further. Hell, get themselves onto 15. Force overtime at the very least. Debris will just push up aggressively. I didn't actually expect him to go for something so risky like that. And eventually he will get punished, but there's actually more where that came from here. Irish Sniper will punish any aggression coming out of late connector here, so he's still in a very confident place here. The B exec will come through from Nerd Generation here, and finally we're starting to see some glimpse of the form that we've seen from Nerd Generation previously, but Jagmaster will have absolutely none of it. A triple to hold it down. Unreal. Again, you know how I mentioned that everybody on Divide Esports has really had this crazy glow-up from how they performed in the first half? Jagmaster is no exception. He finished that first half at like 8 kills or something. He has put rounds on his back, whether they're against Deagles or in that case against Rifles. He's been doing fantastic. He seriously has been improving, and Divide Esports, they're looking much more like a well-oiled machine because of it here. A fast play from Divide Esports, or from Nerd Generation, excuse me, that might just be exactly what Divide Esports need to close this one out here. Full flanks coming in through Monster as well. Jackmaster with an uncharacteristic shot whiffed, but it doesn't matter. It's still a 2 versus 1. Powertail is already quick on the flank here, already has a bomb in his possession as well, and the kill will just come through just like that. Unreal glow up. Powertail and Co. just completely changing up how they perform from that first half here and are looking like a completely changed team. So much better for them. Seriously, that is like the kind of performance that I really, really wanted to see out of them, because I know that, you know, they have the skill for it. The side of Divide Esports, excuse me, and they absolutely just wiped them out for that. Seriously, Divide Esports, it's hard for even me to even choose an MVP. If I had to choose one, Irish Sniper was pretty lethal. Let me go ahead and check the board again. I want to actually go ahead and have some claims to back up my work. Wow, Powertail, that is insane. What a glow up from him. Again, he started out something like 1-7, and he ended up 21-19. How the hell do you do that? That's unreal. Highest R dubs, 13.28 here. I mean, everybody had their very notable rounds. It's just so hard to exactly like choose one person who's a very notable standout, and that's what's so impressive to me. Divide Esports, very much glowing up in the second half of play there. Much needed. Keep their positive record in the season here, and I dare say it's a bit of an upset over the 6-3 Nerd Generation here. They're now 6-5 of their own volition here, with more games left to come. They still could make it to playoffs here. They're going to have to win every single game from here on out here, but, you know, they made that first step. Now it's time to go ahead and finish their walk. That's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a brilliant night. I said brilliant. Why do I say brilliant? I'm not like this 1950s billionaire or anything. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good night. I'm just going to go ahead and end it before I start forgetting how to speak. I'm already halfway there. Anyway, have a great night. I'll see you soon. Later.